So I hope I'm live by now. Yes. Good evening, everyone. It's our pleasure to have you all here, our guests, and then from us at JE Field Strategy. My name is Sueba Brashid Ilyas, a representative from JE Field Strategy. And today we are going to have a resounding conversation with a 2027 candidate and a aspirant and a 2026 candidate in the forthcoming Nigerian election. And we are having this conversation for us to be informed, for us to be knowledgeable, and for us to, learn from their experiences and then, be inspired as well. And for us to instill the patriotism in the young people, because I believe this conversation cut across young people, the millennials, and for us to know, learn from one another. Before we dive into the conversation proper, I would like to appreciate the presence of our guest, Mr. Vitalis Lanshima, and the other guests will join us soon. And then I would like to invite Mr. Jude to give us a welcome address and tell us what JE Field Strategy is about and why we are here. So permit me, Mr. Jude, please, the mic is over with you, to you. Thank you, and over.
Thank you so much, Mr. Weber. I think I am also live. Awesome. Welcome to this very important conversation with a political aspirant and a political candidate in the forthcoming elections of 2026 and 2027. We are all Nigerians and we all desire a better Nigeria. And we want to congratulate all those who aspire or who intend to contest for elections in Nigeria. We want to say a big congratulations. It's a privilege and an honor to want to run for office. In other parts of the world, people who aspire to contest elections are being congratulated. I think that's something Nigeria should also imbibe in our culture, whereby we congratulate those who are willing to throw their hat in the ring. So a big congratulations once more. This is just going to be very real and authentic. Ms. Sueba, Ms. Susu Abdul will be helping us moderate it with the two guests that we have, and we get to know them, they get to share with us, we get to really mingle together. And this is live streamed, so Nigerians are at the liberty to join in right now or to watch after the live stream ends. So this is a great time for those who reside in places such as FCT Amac and those who reside in Benue State, to be able to get to hear from these two great Nigerians who have a lot to offer for us. So, Ms. Weber, a quick intro as to what JE Field Strategy is all about. We are a non-partisan political consulting firm, because meaning we work for any political aspirant or political candidate, irrespective of political party. We believe strongly that all we need is a Nigerian to do a better job. We believe we can find a Nigerian in the PDP, in the APC, in the Labour Party, in whatsoever political party that are out there. And that's what we're looking for, Nigerians who are lovers of Nigeria, who can bring the change that we all desire to see and have. So we are a non-partisan political consultants, and we work for politicians, those who run for office. We're also into civic and education as well. We're into voters' education, all of all those things. We do a lot of political services. So this is one of the many things that we do. Ms. Sueba, take it up from here. Over to you, ma'am, and all the best to us in this very important conversation.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Jude, for this overview. And I believe after this, our audience will even go back to check us on all of our social media platforms to see the good work we've been doing in educating Nigerians, in educating young people, and also in consulting any young person interested in politics. So before we continue the conversation, I would like to give a short bio of our guest, so that for us to have like an idea of who we have today. So permit me, Mr. Vitalis Lanshima, to give a short bio of him. Mr. Vitalis is a determined leader running for the Vandika Konshisha Federal Constituency seat. Despite losing his hands at the age of 12, he has excelled in sports and academics, earning a communication and psychology degree in the US. His campaign champions accessible healthcare, quality education, youth and disability inclusion, and women's empowerment. Known for his people centered approach, he engages communities through initiatives like Let's Talk 2027 and continues to support children with disabilities through mentorship and scholarship. It's our pleasure to have you here, sir. And honestly, your story is really, really inspiring. And then seeing the work that you're doing around, equipping young people with the right knowledge and inspiring young people. So I would like to hear from you. Is Nigeria worth it? Is Nigeria worth the stress? Yeah.
Unequivocally, yes. Nigeria is the only country that we have, is the only nation that we belong to. So regardless of the mess that we find ourselves in, I believe Nigeria is worth it. For many years, I would say that I didn't give a damn, but I realized that I could live abroad. I could have everything that I ever wanted. I've lived in the United States for about 20 years now, and I enjoy everything that people here do enjoy. But at the end of the day, Nigeria is home. That's where family is. That's where my childhood friends are. So if they are not okay, I am not okay. If my mom is not okay, I'm not okay. If my neighbor is not okay, I'm not okay. So Nigeria is the only country that we have, and I believe that we can build a Nigeria of our dreams.
All right. I totally agree with you, but most of the young people right now will not even understand what you're talking about because people are looking at the let's go and japa, let's look at the greener pasture abroad without seeing that yes, we need to invest in Nigeria. So I want to hear from you, like what are the challenges that you are facing or you have faced in your bid for an elective office, for this elective office?
Well, the challenge with the Nigerian political system is the political patronage. Most Nigerians do not look at individuals based on merit. Sometimes you looked at as who is your godfather, who are you aligning with. People don't look at you on an individual level to see what policies you're championing. And so that is the biggest challenge that we have in Nigeria. So trying to maneuver those landmines, because when you lean more towards one camp, then you alienate another camp. When you lean more towards one particular individual, and then you alienate the other individual. And sometimes, and for me particularly, I have always said that I don't have a godfather. And I respect people. I appreciate what people have contributed to Nigeria as we know it. But at the same time, if I agree with you, I will stand by you and I will support you. But I also disagree in a cordial way. I do not follow blindly. I ensure that people know where I stand at all times. I believe in Nigeria and I stand with Nigeria. And so when it comes to the detriment of uh, my country and my conscience, then I do not betray that.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting. So, so I would love to hear like what are your motives towards this elective office, running for the elective office? What do you have in store for your people?
Well, we have the Nigerian project, and when Nigeria acquired its independence, we had a situation where the elites then, most of whom studied abroad in the United States, in the UK, and other countries, they enjoyed the benefits of those countries, of those systems. They came back home to imbibe in Nigeria a country that they will leave for their children and their grandchildren. And I'm very sure that if today Abubakar Tafawa Balewa comes back and sees Nigeria the way it is, he will shake his head in disbelief. If Ahmadu Bello comes back to Nigeria today and sees Nigeria the way it is, he will shake his head in disbelief. So the same thing goes with Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obafemi Awolowo. These are individuals who sacrificed massively for Nigeria to acquire its independence. They saw the potential in Nigeria. That potential they saw pre-1960 still exists in Nigeria today. When I travel around the world, I see Nigerians who are truly, truly committed to their professions. Nigerians are the most talented individuals in the world, believe it or not. There is no way you will go in the United States or in the UK and other parts of the world that you will not see Nigerians excelling in various fields, education, medicine, you name it. There are Nigerians who are doing great things. We do not have a shortage of talent in the country. What we have, the shortage of willpower. And so that is where I am coming from. I'm an individual, like you said, I lost my hands in 1989. And that allowed me to go through the entire system. When I had my accident, it what happened at a school, at a playground. And it took the generosity of my teacher, who had a vehicle then, to transport me to the hospital. Well, in developed climes, that is not the case. You dial a number, the ambulance will be there in less than 10 minutes. When I learned to write and tried to get back to school again, almost every school I approached turned me away because what? I had a disability. The Nigerian system was not designed for me. The Nigerian system did not even have the space that I could walk into and be successful. So those are the challenges that we have as a country. And so when I look at our leaders, many of whom have benefited from advanced systems, most of our leaders today, from the president down to the Senate president, they have traveled the world. They have studied abroad. They have used the medical systems abroad. So they know what these countries do. But yet, when we look back home, reverse is the case. So if our leaders deserve the quality systems that we have abroad, then I believe that our constituents in Nigeria deserve the same. And that is the premise I am running on. I am running on the premise that every citizen of Nigeria deserves the best quality education in the world. Every citizen of Nigeria deserves the best healthcare system in the world. And our older individuals who have worked all their lives and they are ready to retire, we need to provide a welfare system for them so that when they retire, they are not going to the market to sell, to petty trade. They're not going to the farms to struggle, but they retire with dignity. And our youths, they deserve a system that we invest in them, an equitable system, not one that is based on patronage, but one that is based on what they have to offer. Not because of where you come from or who your last name is, but because you're a Nigerian. And if you're a Nigerian, you deserve the best education system, that you can acquire the best education in the world, and that you excel, not because of who your dad is, but because every Nigerian should be treated equally.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for pointing out. But I believe what is happening right now is not the promises that are in place, especially from our leaders, but then the trust in these promises, because we have witnessed several leaders coming to narrate, different scenarios of how they want a better Nigeria, a best Nigeria for us, and then they will attend the office and then we'll see nothing in return. So how are we going to refine this trust? How are we going to build this trust back for our young people to know that, yes, the Nigeria we want and we desire will definitely come if we trust the right person? And how are we going to know that this person is the right person? Because now you are already in the system and you know how it works. So from your own point of view, what can you tell Nigerians and how do you want Nigeria to approach this?
Well, when you look at individual candidates or individual aspirants, you need to look at their background. You need to ask the question, where are they coming from? What are their antecedents? And I am one individual. For those who know me, they will tell you, when I say yes, it's a yes, or when I say no, it's a no. And there's a reason why I intentionally do not lean towards a particular camp or the other. I respect, but at the same time, I want to be my own individual. I know that one tree cannot make a forest. We can work collaborative to make things happen. But I have a message the Nigerians needs to listen to. I have been through this, and I realized that because I've been through this, I realized because I have been through this, I have faced these challenges, and I had to overcome them on an individual basis. Nigerians will know that I am not going to betray them. I have served in public office here in the United States, and I see the way things work. And that is the catalyst for me deciding to go back home to create a system just like the one I experienced here. So I have the experience of actually working within the system that works, and I have an experience of providing those services for my constituents in the United States. And so they don't have to look too far. They have to look at where I'm coming from and the things I have done for the brief period that I served in public office in the United States.
Okay. Interesting. So you're also advocating for young people to know more about the background of any political candidate. They will lean towards it, if I'm correct.
Oh yes, I mean you don't vote for somebody because they of their last name or because of who is behind them. You should look at what they have done in the past with the little they've been given. What have they accomplished with it? I mean, we need to ask the tough questions. We need to hold our leaders accountable. The situation that we have in the country now is people are elected and then they go on vacation for 4 years. They come back and then they bring handouts and they lure you with little tokens and then you elect them back to office. That is not how systems work. What we need to do, we ask the right questions. We look at individuals' backgrounds, where they're coming from, look at their antecedents, and then we'll decide if they merit those positions or not. But currently, we don't do that. So it's time for us to begin to engage. One of the things I do on my platform is communicating with individuals, holding town halls, having that engagement with my constituents. They see me, they see where I'm coming from, and they ask those questions. And I have to answer those tough questions. But when people go on vacation and only return when it's time for election, then you know they're not serious. They don't care about you, but they care about themselves. They care about what their family and their pockets, and that's it.
Of course. And if I recall you mentioning, the challenges around the Nigerian political system, around you having or who you know, who you have, at the back end, I would like to hear from you. What do you prefer to see changes in the Nigerian political systems? What do you feel
Well,
like it needs to change for things to
we need to create,
be
we need to
better?
create a system that is transparent.
Mm.
And that is the biggest problem we have with the Nigerian system. I mean, we have electoral laws, but the laws are just so cumbersome and they are not enforced. So I'll give a brief background about the American political financial system. So as a candidate in the United States, the first thing you do is you file to run for office. And then you let people know, or the government know, if you intend to collect money from individuals or you're going to finance yourself. And then every single kobo you spend on your campaign, is it running Facebook ads or printing pamphlets or posters? Those monies are reported every single month or maybe quarterly prior to the election. And then once we get to about 6 months to the election, every month you're reporting where your money has come from and how you're spending it. That keeps people accountable and creates a transparent system. But in Nigeria, people carry money in bako bags. We don't know who is financing candidates. We don't know if this money comes from terrorists. We don't know if the money comes from abroad. All we know is people have money and they dash money out in bundles. I mean, as leaders, we need to ask ourselves, is it worth just destroying a system because we want to be leaders? To me, the answer is no. We should create a system that is transparent and equitable so anyone can step into it and be held accountable. So if that alone happens in Nigeria, I will be a happy individual. Because when we have a system where people spend millions or even billions on a campaign, and we know that individual never earned that amount of money, it only perpetuates corruption. So if I am spending 250 million naira on my campaign, and you know that I have what I'm earning on a monthly basis, for instance, as a senator or a House of Rep member, maybe it's about 2 million naira. And then I'm not telling you that I received donations from Mr. A or Mr. B. I mean, how does that make sense? It doesn't make any sense. So just creating an accountable and transparent system of financing elections in Nigeria changed the dynamics of elections in the country.
Of course, of course. Transparency, honestly, it will go a long way. And even for the young people to know that yes, the money is not just coming blindly, because now a lot of young people that have the capacity and capability to run for even small office are even scared to go for that because they don't have that financial capacity and capability, and because they see other people that are running, bringing money, from nowhere, and then dashing it out for political and campaign purposes. So I really find your story around seeing your disability and as an ability, and it's really inspiring for other young people, for persons with disability. I want you to tell other young people that are watching us here right now, how did you, cope with that personally, and how did you, equipped your
So, in case you can hear me, um, personally, I don't think my story is unique. It's just one of many Nigerian stories that we have experienced in the country. So, what I did was just a challenge that I faced within the Nigerian system in which I was thrown into. So, like I said, I had an accident, and the Nigerian system was not designed for me to actually exist within it. I faced a series of challenges as a Nigerian, when I was in the hospital and when I left. In advanced crimes, with someone in my situation who has lost even an arm, is rehabilitated. We have a system that will rehabilitate you and get you back to normalcy. Well, in Nigeria, I had to rehabilitate myself. So it happened when I was 12 years old in primary six. I stayed at home for 6 years without going to school. By the time I turned 18, I had to enroll in school. I had to go around Plateau's, Jos in particular, seeking for admission. And like I said, many schools turned me away. So I had to teach myself how to dress, how to bathe, how to write, and to get myself in a situation where I could actually get back to school, because I've always believed that education was a key to my success. I came from a very poor background, and I knew that my parents didn't have the resources to take care of me. And at the end of the day, I needed to be able to get a reasonable job and make a reasonable amount of money to support my family. So that was my determination. And so, as somebody who grew up playing football and knowing that sports provided a little bit of hope for someone in my situation coming from a less privileged background. I went back to sports. And actually, athletics is what gave me the springboard to becoming who I became in life. So I represented Nigeria at the Paralympic Games and was privileged to be recruited by a school in the United States to come here and represent them. And that began my success. So when I arrived in the United States, I saw that things were done differently. Someone in my situation, the first question they asked me was, what do you need? What can we do for you? I was given a laptop on the very first day, and a speech recognition system was installed in it, of which I would speak and it would type on my behalf. These are things that could be done in the country, in Nigeria, but we don't have people who have the desire to create a system like that. That gave me the motivation to become a special education teacher, because I know that when you face challenges like this with disabilities, then you need systems, you need technologies, you need modifications to help you be successful. And so this story is not unique to me. It's a uniquely Nigerian story. Regardless of whether you have a disability or not, Nigerians face peculiar challenges around a system that is not created for the average Nigerian.
Of course.
So because we don't have a system created for the average Nigerian, every one of us suffer, and we have to struggle to get through just little things. For instance, our education system. Just for you to get into school, you have to know somebody. Why? In the US, 99% of every student who graduates from secondary school, who wants to go to college, goes to college and receives funding to go to college. We have the resources in Nigeria. The question is, why don't we do it? But because our leaders predominantly come from high affluence backgrounds, they don't care about what happens to the least of us. So why not to begin to look at where our leaders come from? We don't just support people because of the money they have. Let's look at what they bring to the table.
Of course, honestly, I feel like there's a lot of changes that needs to be done in our systems, right from our leaders down to us and the average Nigerians. So coming down to JE Field strategy, as Mr. Jude mentioned, you know that we are a consulting firm, a political consulting firm, and political consulting is a new practice in Nigeria. What do you feel? Because you have been in the, you have been abroad and you see how their own political system is. Do you think Nigerian politicians needs to, have political consultations and consultancy rather than just having just mentors or godfathers to guide them? Do you think is a good practice to be, take to take on?
Well, a political consultant is actually a no-brainer for any candidate that wants to be successful. So if we operate in an equitable system, then what you need to do is to figure out what's your edge over the other candidate. And what a political consultant does is to provide you with the support and the training you need to become successful as a candidate. So for instance, your public image, your persona that you put out. Most people are not ready for limelight. So a political consultant or a good PR firm, which is part of political consulting, will provide you with that so that you are able to create an image when you present yourself you are presentable in the public sphere. Even the way you speak. We have candidates in Nigeria who, when they speak, you wonder who they are representing, or the things you say, or the strategy that you use as a candidate. So I have used political consultants before. I think it's a no-brainer. It's a practice that, like you said, is new in Nigeria, but it's one that if we have a system that works, then provides that edge for a candidate over the other.
Yeah. So I want to narrow down into political apathy. Nigerians are really angered right now, and a lot of Nigerians believe that their vote doesn't count. What can you say regarding that, and how can you educate Nigerians that are watching us right now to embrace their patriotism and their voters card for the upcoming election? Because I believe it is a needed necessity for every individual to have belief in their country and then work towards it with their PVC.
Well, I understand the feeling that you are negligible, that you're not important, that you don't count in the grand scheme of things. It's very easy for us to feel that way. I feel that way sometimes. But we cannot give up on the system that we have. We cannot give up participating and being involved in the process, because when we don't, those who empower, they win. If we don't, those who want to control us win. It's better for us to go out there and try the best that we can, to work hard and to be defeated, than to be defeated right from the get-go. We cannot give up on our country now. I know it seems like it's impossible, but I want you to understand this. If we all stand up in mass to do what we need to do, to go out there and vote, to protect our votes, then regardless of what the others do, we'll be successful. Let me give you a quick story. The current governor of Benue State, Reverend Father Hyacinth Yumim Alia, when he was contesting for governor, he was just a priest. There were people who had more money than he did, had more connections, they were more powerful. But because of his antecedents, the things he did in the Catholic Church, the things he did when he was a priest, he made a name for himself. So we had situations where old women, young folks stood up and made sure that he became successful as a candidate. They protected his votes. They made sure that he was voted in mass. That's just one example out of many around the country. So this might seem minuscule, but they happen in little corners. They happen in little spaces. We cannot give up now in Nigeria. All we need to do is to team up, band together, and begin to push forward. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. It's not. But we will continue to work together. Bit by bit, we will chip in slowly. And eventually, I believe that Nigeria will become that country that it was designed to be, that country that our forefathers sought for it to be. So let's not give up now.
Yeah, so you're saying we shouldn't give up. The Nigeria we want, desire, and deserve will definitely comes to life if we really work together and if we really stand for it all together. So it's like a collective responsibility for all of us. Thank you, Mr. Vitalis. With that, I would like to invite Mr. Jude. Mr. Jude, can you hear me? Are you here? To give us a closing remark, because I think there is a network issue from the other guest. She will not be able to join. And honestly, your conversation is really on point. It is inspiring. It is motivating. And one key thing that I would like to leave for our audience here is that we shouldn't take Nigeria for granted. We shouldn't look at other countries as above Nigeria. Yes, there are other services and situation that, yes, if people talk about greener pasture, but how about we come and invest in our country? How about we trust our country and really work for our country? I believe it is going to be possible if we have more people like you here, sir, that will come back to Nigeria and invest in Nigeria. And that is why your people need to see that in you. Need to see that you're not just talking about the work, but you have passed through experiences that shaped you into the person you are today. And that is why you have the capacity and capability to like instill for open doors for other people like yourself and average Nigerians to have the opportunities that you've seen out there. Mr. Jude, if you're here with us, please can you turn on your mic to give us a closing remark, because with that we are going to close our conversation for today. Thank you so much, sir, for all that you've shared with us today. It has really been helpful for us and for JE Field Strategy in general. Mr. Jude?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We would love to have a word from the
Yes.
mastermind behind JE Field Strategy. What do
Yeah,
you have for Nigerians?
absolutely. Honorable Lovett seem to have been having a lot of network connectivity. A lot of issues with the network. She's still trying to maneuver that. But that aside, um, Honorable Mr. Vitalis Lashima, I don't know if my camera is on. Maybe I can't find it. See, but you can hear me. We want to thank you. Thank you for your decision to wanting to run for office. Thank you for your love and passion for our beloved Nigeria. Um, we really hope for the very best in your forthcoming elections, and we're glad that the kind of Nigeria that we desire to see and have has begun with you. And we hope that we too will catch that passion and will run with it. And most importantly, we hope that voters in Nigeria will do the unprecedented, that they would say bye-bye and say no to vote buying, ballot box snatching, vote rigging, all those things. And they would only vote for people and individuals with character, people that can help ensure a better Nigeria for each and every one of us. Once again, we want to thank you, particularly Mr. Vitalis Lanshima. We'll let you go. We'll have you say one or two things for us, and then you can take a leave. And then we'll attend to Miss Honorable Lovett, who just joined us. Finally, I got her on board. Mr. Vitalis Lashima, over to you for one or two things for us, and you're free to go, sir. Once again, we thank you, sir.
So thank you very much, and thank you very much for having me for this wonderful opportunity to be part of what you do. Like I said earlier, Nigeria is the only country that we have, and it's time for us to begin to come together wherever you live. If you're a Nigerian, we all one. We need to begin to team up together and begin to work hard to make Nigeria that country that we want it to be. So once again, I appreciate the opportunity.
All right,
Thank you,
so
sir.
much, Mr.
Have a good evening, sir.
You too. All right.
Bye.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. Good evening. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Good evening, everyone. Yes, I can hear you. Good evening.
All right.
I'm so sorry for coming late. I think there are some issues with my phone, so I had to connect with someone else's phone.
All right, it's our pleasure having you here with us, and to our audience, it's their pleasure also to have you here, ma'am. Before we commence the conversation, I would like to give a short bio to the audience on who you are, and I believe in the course of the conversation, they are going to know more about what you do and who you are. It's also my honor once again. Honorable Lovett is in real estate, a business developer, an entrepreneur, and an activist for young ladies' participation in politics. She is the PDP councillorship candidate for the City Center ward in the forthcoming 2026 election in Amak FCT. It's our honor to have you here, Honorable. Um, Towards
Thank
in
you
the
so much.
opening of the conversation, Ma, I would love to hear from you. Is Nigeria worth the struggle? Is Nigeria worth the stress that you're going through for its people?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Honorable Lovett Izeko, the PDP councillorship candidate for City Center Ward. And yes, answering that particular question, I would say yes. Of course, I don't have, we don't, majority of the people here don't have any other country. We only have one country, which is Nigeria. So why should we give up hope? Why should we not put our best into creating an impact? And I believe every great nation we see today started from somewhere. So we have to I think some of us have to be at the front line to ensure that this country called Nigeria, that is greatly blessed with so many resources, has to can be a country we our vision it's to be in a couple of years. So I think yes, of course, Nigeria do want the struggle.
All right. Ma, we really appreciate it if you turn on your camera so that because it's live, we can have the grace of your, you know, face if you don't mind.
Okay, let me look for because my election is just a few months and few days away. So I'm actually having my campaign now because my ward is a city center. So I'm trying to look for where there's light. I'm just by the streets while doing
Oh,
this.
oh,
So
oh,
it's fine.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I think
Thank
okay.
you.
I
Thank
don't
you. I'm
know.
sorry for putting you through this stress.
No,
Talking
no,
about
it's fine.
campaign, talking about campaign, I would really love to hear what you have for your people. Like, what do you intend to do for your people?
Okay, my ward, which is the city center ward, um, from the general view, most people will say, okay, it's already a developed ward, it's already developed a community with a good road network, a water system, electricity, because city center is the #1 ward in Abuja Municipal Area Council, and sorry, excuse me. And within city center, we have the villa. Within city center, we have the National Assembly, and within city center, we have a majority of the embassies within city center. So everybody will say the ward is already developed and it has all it takes. But despite that, being part of the community and someone who has been here for years, upfront, we know what we lack within the ward. City center is mainly occupied. The residents of city center are mainly civil servants, retirees, and all that. So most times, most of them don't really engage into other activities like business. Most of the youths, most of the children of of these people have not had that opportunity to participate or to get being trained by their parents who are not really traders in most of this business wise or so. And you see a whole lot of youth graduates, they're not really doing anything. Most of them, after graduation, most of them are just hanging around. And I recently resigned as Director of Business Development from Amac Investment and Property Development. Sorry, I'm a bit tense because I've been walking around campaigning. Let me calm down a bit.
Sorry, yeah.
So, no, it's fine. I recently resigned as Director of Business Development, Amac Investment, and I'm trying to bring this business perspective into the world, whereby we get to train most of the youths, the women, and even the retirees. Of course, you know, some people retire at a very, even before their sisters, they get to retire, maybe due to service years.
Mm.
And we intend to give train them on more skills, introduce the youth to the digital world, because you know that is where we are now, and with the new introduction of the AI and all that. And I'm someone who is very passionate about community service. I intend to bring I intend to engage the community, which is certain certain ward, in a front row, like sorry, I'm trying to catch my breath. In generally, I want to what we intend to do mostly is invest into humanity. That's what we intend to do mostly, because I believe through that we can be able to create a chain of a life-changing chain in a family, whereby when someone gets to acquire a skills and you tutor the person free counseling on how to go about the skills or the business, that person, through that person, we could get more job, employment, and that person will be able to take up more family responsibility, and that way you see the community will be thriving and the community will be growing. And I also intend to also take advantage of because that's something that, especially here in Abuja, I don't know about some states, the community are not really doing the corporate social responsibility. So we also intend to take advantage of that as well, whereby we reach out to those people within the ward and ask them to take up some of this responsibility by investing back into the society, by giving back to the society. And with that, we get to grow. And not just doing that, also leveraging on my already established network and relationship as a business developer. We intend to also create more network within the local and the international world, whereby we create a platform to to project or to expose most of these people within our ward to what is happening out there, other business opportunities they can actually leverage on. So that is what of course I do have more to give, but
Yeah.
I'm just a bit tense, sorry.
No problem. Interesting, but honestly, I love the way all your approaches are people-centered, youth-centered,
Mm.
community-centered, and women-centered. And when we talk about women, we are underrepresented in a lot of sectors, and we have challenges. Ma, I would love to hear
Mm.
from you, and I know my audience are curious about that. What are the challenges you've encountered for the bid of this office as a woman participating in politics?
And that's quite that's been very interesting, if I must say. First and foremost, the area council, of course, I give credit to the executive chairman for giving appointments, women appointments in some other areas. But there seems to be, despite that, there seems to be a concern because we had no female representation in the legislative, and even the supervisory councillors as well, there was no female representation there. And that is one of the things that inspired me to have resigned from my position to contest for this, because I'm an advocate, a gender advocate. And I also have an NGO, Young Ladies in Politics. I decided to do this because I wanted to be seen taking actions, not just advocating for these things. So I then resigned to contest for this position. And it wasn't really easy because right now I happen to be the only female candidate out of the 61 ward here in FCT. I happen to be the only female candidate. And during my primaries, because initially the ward intended to have a consensus whereby we don't spend much and all that. But a group of youths disagreed on that. Then we went for primaries, and I won my votes. I won my candidacy with 1 vote. And despite that, we still got some protests from from group of main youths. And that is what I have been advocating for, because especially we younger female, we are trying to just create a niche for ourselves, because even among youths, we all know that it's highly dominated by male, because you hardly see a youth leader who is a female, and so on and so forth. So it wasn't really easy because they felt like, okay, them having a group of capable men, why will the women not be the candidates of a great party like PDP and all that? So we had months doing reconciliation, months and on and off reconciliation, and but eventually they get to understand that I have something to offer and I should be given the opportunity. So honestly, it wasn't easy. Even as a woman right now, I'm coping with some things. I'm actually a mother of a year and 4 months old baby. So we have to give a lot of sacrifice in order to give back to our society and our community. So I would say it hasn't been really easy, But I strongly believe, and I have been advocating that women have a lot to offer to Nigeria. Because if you see most of the countries that are doing well today, and you take a close look at the economy, you notice that women have been given much responsibility, and women has actually made the economy to strive as well. Women have been, much investment has gone into women as well, well, through loan or training or several investments to women, and that's probably why the economy is striving. And I think Nigeria is also coming to that understanding that women are also more reliable, because if you look at the financial institute, you notice that most of the CEOs here in Nigeria, I don't know about other places, most of them, like the likes of Zenith Bank and all that, you notice the CEOs are all female. Majority of them are female. So I think women have a lot to offer. And I was recently asked in an interview that if Nigeria is probably coming to a point where if a female will become president of Nigeria, I said probably we're not there yet, but I believe a day will come where Nigeria will know that we need a female to make things more right in this country.
Well, thank you so much, Ma. Honestly, from what you said, I will take a takeaway from this. Like, just do the work, have the zeal, and then the opportunities will even, open doors for itself for you. So
Yeah.
just to make it short, because I know you're on the road. We just want like a last minute advice for the audience, for Nigerians, and for patriotic Nigerians to be specific, on voter apathy, and then the need for them to stand up for Nigeria with their PVC in the forthcoming election, and then we'll call it a day. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, firstly, I want to speak to every woman out there, especially the young ones. I know more women needs to come out to participate in politics. We can all not just be advocating, we can all not just be screaming about change and all that. We need to participate. We need to be a card-carrying member of a political party. We need to register to have voters card. That is your right. So you need to have that, and you need to participate. You need to even contest. And most importantly, wherever you find yourself, irrespective of the sector or responsibility you've been entrusted with, you need to show competency. I keep telling everybody that I meet, especially the young female, that value is your negotiating factor. You need to learn how to place value on the table. Show competency, because you never can tell who's watching. You never can tell who is listening. A day will come and where you just be say, okay, maybe where you show interest in something. It doesn't have to be politics. In politics, in leadership space, anywhere in your career space, anywhere you find yourself. That way, women get to be in decision-making tables, irrespective of where sectors or wherever you are. So you need to show competency. You need to place value on the table as your negotiating factor. And women need to learn how to support each other. Speaking to every woman out there, we need to learn how to support each other. We need to learn how to see the brighter side in every woman as yourself, and you consider them yourself. Then speaking to every Nigeria, let's all embrace peace. Because when there's peace, there's more unity. And when there's peace, there's more understanding. And when there's understanding, there's more unity. And when there's unity, there's more growth, and the nation will strive. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. Thank you for being here with us. For now, I will invite Mr. Jude to give us a last minute, a closing remark before we end.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I was trying to have you give us a closing remark for that of Honorable Lovett. Go ahead, Ms. Susu.
All right, thank you so much. We've come to the end of our conversation. As a key takeaway, we all heard from both the honorables, and we've heard how dedicated they are towards getting us the Nigeria we want, desire, and deserve for everyone. So it's a collective responsibility from their own level and from our own level. If there's anything you need to take from this conversation, is know that you have what it takes to work for Nigeria at your own level. Change begins with me, change begins with you. So you need to start changing for yourself and for your own community and for the Nigeria at all. From JE First Strategy, we said Nigeria first. So with that, I'll say thank you so much. And then you can continue following us on all of our social media platforms. We have our website. If you have interest in anything politics, you can reach out to us for consultations and guidance. We got you covered. So with that, I say bye and have a great evening or night ahead.